Good morning, students. How is everyone? I'm again with you with a new topic today. Today's topic is socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Boys and girls, after the French Revolution, the ideas of liberty from France, it spread, it circulated to the whole Europe, and even in India. In India, people like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Dorjio talked of the French Revolution. There were people in France who were talking about this in whole of the Europe. People were talking of the changes. These changes now were being talked in Russia also. So this was the time when the society, even in Russia, was getting ready for a change after the French Revolution. See, Russia was a country which was not keeping pace with rest of the Europe. Rest of the Europe had almost industrialized. It depends only 50% on farming. A great population now worked in factories. But when it came to Russia even till 20th century, in the beginning of 20th century, was depending on farming. Almost more than 80% of their population depended on farming. See, people wanted change, but it was not that everyone wanted change. There were different views. Basically, we can divide those people in three views, in three categories. They were conservatives, liberals, and radicals. The conservatives were those people who did not favor changes at a rapid pace. They wanted to respect the old regime, but the liberals wanted change. Although they wanted the changes to go at a slow pace, liberals wanted a nation which tolerated all religions. The radicals, on the contrary, wanted a nation where the government was based on majority. This was the basic difference between the radicals and the liberals. Both wanted change, but there was difference in their wanting changes. One religion or another, these people favored. For instance, Britain favored the Church of England. Austria and Spain favored the Catholic Church. Liberals also opposed the uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers. They wanted to safeguard the rights of the individual against government. They argued for a representative elected parliamentary government, subject to laws interpreted by a judiciary, and the judiciary, they advocated, should be independent of the rulers and officials. This was the condition. And the Democrats, see, these liberals were not Democrats. They did not favor in universal franchise. They in fact believed in that voting rights may be given to the people who owned property. This was the difference in the thinking, whereas the radicals wanted a universal suffrage and they wanted radical changes. They also favored a government ruled by majority rule. This was the basic difference. Boys and girls, almost all the property of the individuals, the liberals favored it. Liberals and radicals both themselves were often property owners. This was the reason that they favored property owning people to have the say in the government. They were both. They were property owners also, they were employers also. So their interests were definitely, they wanted to look after their interests. Some nationalists, liberals and radicals wanted revolutions to put an end to the kind of government established in Europe in 1815. See, in France, Italy, Germany and Russia, they became revolutionaries and worked to overthrow existing monarchies. Nationalists talked out of revolutions that would create nations where all citizens would have equal rights. After 1815, we have already talked about Giuseppe Mazzini, an Italian nationalist who conspired with others to achieve the unification of Italy, and they were talking about nationalism. Nationalism was also talked about in some of the Asian countries like India. So the French Revolution, the effects of French Revolution did not stay only up to Europe, but it spread in almost all of the Europe and Asia. Now, how did socialism come to Europe? And then slowly, how did it change into a revolution, the Russian Revolution? We shall be talking about it. See, by the mid-19th century, in Europe, socialism was a well-known body of ideas which people were talking everywhere. It widespread, and socialists were against private property. They saw it as the root of all social evils. During those days, the Russian farmers used to pull up their land, and this was a normal practice in Russia. So some of the social workers even talked to the extent that Russia the Russian people are natural socialists. They were talking to this extent. Come Robert Owen, as you know, he was a leading English manufacturer who sought to build a cooperative community in America, and he favored the cooperative of groups. France, for instance, Louis Blanc wanted the government to encourage cooperatives and replace capitalists. So these were the differences the world saw during those days. These cooperatives were to be the associations of the people who produced goods together and divided the profits according to the work done by the members. Then came the ideas of Karl Marx. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, they both talked about the idea of socialism, and they talked about capitalists owning the capital invested in factories. They were talking to the people that whatever property the capitalists have made, this is at the cost of the laborers who were working in the factories. So they wanted the labor community, the workers, to be the owners. Why should the capitalists be the owner in that case? They argued in that way, and this idea got a lot of support from everywhere. Somewhere in 1870s, the socialist ideas spread through Europe. To coordinate their efforts, and socialists formed the international body named the Second International. The Second International was formed up in 1870s, and the workers in England and Germany began forming associations to fight for better living and working conditions. They set up funds to help members in times of distress and demanded a reduction of working hours and right to vote. In Germany, these associations worked closely with the Social Democratic Party, the SPD. It helped. It had some parliamentary seats, and therefore it started influencing the laws being made in the parliament. By 1905, socialists and trade unions formed a Labour Party in Britain. 1905 was the year where the whole of the Europe was seeing turmoil. There were big turmoils in Russia also. So Britain had this Labour Party, and France saw the emergence of Socialist Party. Remember, Labour Party, Socialist Party in Britain and France. However, till 1914, First World War, the socialism never succeeded in forming a government in Europe. It was first time in 1914 that they succeeded. Of course, they had representation in the parliament, and because they were represented by strong figures in the parliamentary politics, therefore they influenced laws even before 1914. But they did not have a government of their own before 1914. We shall be further talking about how it went further in the next video. Till then, please keep watching this video at least once more, then read the text, and I'll be sending you some questions for your answers. Thanks for joining.